Okay, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, and welcome online, no matter where you're watching this training from. We're about to go through the road to one star, very basic first training that every single Neumi member around the world in all languages wants to listen to, because this is where you're going to learn the Neumi 1, 2, 3, and ABCs. My name's Michael Firth, one of the founding Field Advisory Board members and Crowns with Neumi. And in the next 45 minutes, we're going to make sure that you have all the basics to be very successful in Neumi as a company. Now, some companies come out with a great product, and some companies have a great compensation plan. Rarely do they have both. And other companies have a system and a process that is duplicated in every single language around the globe in exactly the same fashion. And Neumi has the holy trinity of all three. So let's get back into it. Let's talk about the Neumi 1, 2, 3 ABC, but let's start by talking about the duplication quadrant. Now, this was created by Alex Monterosa. You can see in the bottom left-hand corner, it says One Star Bootcamp. So all our training in the basics when you get started, which is public, is road to one star training. Once you become a one star, we'll then, in a locked room with the door shut for those that didn't qualify, we'll then talk about the gear change that you need to do to grow your business beyond where it's at one star. So with that in mind, I want to share the duplication quadrant, which Alex Monterosa, founding advisory board member and Crown, came up with. So the very first quadrant is the top left, which says you need to learn to do. What does that mean? Plug into the system, okay? So we have Neumi Academy workshops happening every week. We have corporate proof training. There are Neumi weekly presentations, official presentations every Tuesday, 6 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. And then, of course, you may have upline training from your particular team. So plugging into all of those things means you'll learn how to do. And that's when you'll probably be a member or maybe get yourself to senior member. And I don't mean people who sell their way to a rank. I mean people who are solidly at those sorts of ranks. And the next gear change beneath that is you then do what you've learnt. And that's about action and implementation. And they say that you learn by doing. A lot more people learn by doing than just listening. In fact, I've heard it put before that there is zero personal development in any seminars, mentoring, books you read. It's all about the actions when you put implementation into the actions that you've learnt. So I want you to choose an active mentor. Make sure the person who you're following is doing what they're telling you to do. We want you to create a list, and then we have a specific philosophy called the 130-10 that we want you to follow, which we'll talk about later. You become a connector, connecting brand new prospects in step 2 to your upline, and we contact and invite. That's all you need to learn at the start, is contacting and inviting. Now, when you do that, you can get yourself to 1 star, 2 star, maybe even 3 star. But then there is a gear change again. Today, we're just going to talk about these two things, but just so you know, there is a gear change in your career beyond that. If you want to go beyond 1, 2, and 3 star, where you learn to teach. So you follow an active mentor. If your sponsor has a smaller business than you, then get a mentor further up the line, because you can't theoretically teach someone to do something that you've not done yourself. So at this point, it's about continuous ongoing education. You go from rookie to pro to expert, eventually become an influencer in the industry, and you counsel regularly with upline. I talk to Alex many times a week. Even though we're both at Crown, I'm still green and growing and learning from someone who's been had a bigger business than me. And this is when the duplication zone kicks in, but you need systems and processes to do that. Eventually, that'll get you to 3 star, maybe even diamond. But can you hold it at that? It depends if you have the Neumi 1, 2, 3 processes. Then we teach to teach. That's when you become mentor of mentors. That's the residual life we're looking for. So then we just rinse and repeat. It's learn, do, teach, repeat. Learn, do, teach, repeat. Do that enough, empowering others to teach, and guess what? You'll find yourself at double diamond, triple diamond, or maybe even crown. So kicking in today, I got a couple of questions. The very first question is, isn't it just sharing the product enough all on its own? If I just give the product to people, well, you'll end up with lots of customers, but you won't build a big duplicatable business if that's the only thing you do. The second question is, everyone loves me. I can sell ice to Eskimos. I know what I'm doing. I don't need your systems. Is that enough? Well, I can show you examples of where people plateau and wonder why it doesn't keep growing for them. So we're going to talk about it today. And the last question is what you're doing simple enough that a child could duplicate what you're doing right now? Okay. And that's when we come to the 3 Ps, which is product, personality, and process. And if you haven't got a pen, I'd encourage you to write it down now. Product, personality, and process. Let me share what I mean. So Some people think if you just get this product in people's hands, they're all going to join because you had a great product experience. They're going to have a great product experience, and off we go. Well, like I said, what I find when you do that is you get lots of customers, but you don't duplicate yourself. That's why the importance of Neumi 123. Second was my learning. I came from being a sales coach in the mortgage industry, looking after a few thousand brokers across Australia and New Zealand. And I'm like, I don't need your systems. I know how to sell ice to Eskimos. We'll be good. And I built really fast and then plateaued. And I wondered why I couldn't get past that ceiling. And what I found was when I spoke to a great mentor, which was Alex Monterosa, master distributor of the company, back in the previous company I was with, he said, well, that's because you don't have systems and processes, right? And so the last one is process. Now, I'm going to share a story which will hit home. Neumi's been going at the time of this recording just under 4 years. There's 200,000 members across 74 countries. I know there's a guy in the industry by the name of Matt, and Matt's been in the industry for over 20 years. And he recently got online and he said, I have 1 million personal team members. Who wouldn't like that? And he said, but the key to having 1 million personal team members is I didn't recruit salespeople. I'm not a great salesperson, but I have a system so basic that even a child could do it. Now, it took him 20 years to get to 1 million personal team members. We've got to 200,000 using our system in 4 years. Can you imagine in 20 years where Neumi will be? I'm going to put it on now. You can come back and check with me. I reckon we'll be about 10 times the size of that particular individual in the industry. So, product, personality. Today we're focusing on process. Okay. So success in Neumi is really as simple as 1, 2, 3, ABC. And we're going to break that down for you now. So let's start with the 1, 2, 3. We have a fast start plan, a fast start guide that the person who invited you is going to give you from your sponsor. Now, the person who sponsored you, that's an industry term, sponsor means responsible for you. And so they will hold your hand and they will send you the fast start guide, and they'll also send you a 90-day plan. Now, I just want to point out personality types here for a minute. Now, if you've done a personality training with Steve Scott, you'll know that there is lions, which are drivers or red personalities. They do it now. There is blue personalities, which is the otter in Steve's language, the blue personality, the sanguine, the talker. And then those two personalities don't like details. So they're pretty unlikely that they're going to read the 90-day plan, but they'll jump straight on a one-pager being the fast start guide. Then again, we also have the other personalities, which is the green, detailed beaver personality, analytical. They need all the facts before they start. They are going to read the success planner from page to page. In fact, they'll probably laminate it. Then there is also the golden retrievers, the yellow personalities, the we love people personality, big-hearted people. They also like more details, and they'll probably read through the 90-day planner. Now, I tell you this as a mentor to say, hey, if you are the detailed person and you read every page of the 90-day success plan, don't think that the lions and otters that join you are going to do the same. They're going to just scan through the one page of being the fast start guide. So you pick the mark, give people both, and then their personality work out which one works best for them. Personally, I think both are important, but you can start really fast with just the fast start guide. You do not have to have gone through every word of the success planner first. So the person who invited you, your sponsor who's responsible for you, they will email you or send you on text or somewhere, Facebook Messenger from the app directly the guide, so you've got it to start with. So pull that aside right now, have a printed off copy, you can press pause if you like, and then have that so you can go through it as we go through this session today. So let's talk about the Neumi 1, 2, 3 ABC. So connect. We're going to connect. What do I mean? Well, the 1, 2, 3 is connect to tools, connect to leaders, connect to products. That is our process. Connect to tools, connect to leaders, connect to products. Let's break it down in these 1, 2, 3s in more details. What does it mean when I say connect to tools? Well, we have a statement I heard years ago, which is use the tools, don't be the tool, right? Now, when you start, can you start presenting immediately? Well, you could, but in your app, there's every single presentation, every tool there that you don't need to. And you want to dumb it down so that the brand new person says, I could do what you do. If you become a presenter immediately, sometimes people are going to go, look, I couldn't present like you do, so I couldn't do this business. So use the tools at the start Once you rank advanced through the first rank or two, absolutely become a presenter if you want to, but start with connector tools. So what are the first tools that most people use? Well, for 99.9% of all members across the world, the very first video they use is the Hydrostat 3-minute video, right? The one that says, remember when record players and cassettes were the best way to deliver music? Well, the same thing holds true when we talk about delivering nutrition. They used to be capsules. That video is the first video that everybody sends. The second video that everybody uses is actually the Neumi weekly opportunity overview, which is a live event every Tuesday, 6 p.m. Mountain Time with a preferred international presenter. Or maybe they can send the recording of that, where you've got myself as a crown presenting a 23-minute version of the opportunity overview. Now let's stop right here. Some people will send all sorts of videos to their prospects first. Just remember duplication. Because if you send out a different video every time that you are approaching someone, you don't have a system, you don't have a process. Now, we didn't say which video when we said connect to tools that you had to send, but I'm just showing you what 90% of the members use, because they send the 3-minute video because it's a quick thermometer, hot or not. And then they go through and they follow back up. Pretty cool. Hey, got any questions? Then they send through the opportunity overview before they get to the follow-up stage. Why is that? The opportunity overview, we don't play God. We're not promoting business versus product. We're promoting opportunity, the pendulum right in the middle, where we let the video, the opportunity overview, which is 80% product, I should say, we allow them to watch the opportunity overview because that helps them select, am I a customer potential or am I a member? That's why it doesn't matter if I'm approaching a scientist, a sports star, a doctor, or a university student or a mum, everyone gets exactly the same videos first. Now, after that, of course, there's lots of other options as well. You can have your weekly team opportunity overview. Maybe you're doing that. Maybe you're launching and you've got a lot of people online on one live event. So we could do a live opportunity overview for you as well. So that's number one, connect to tools. The second step, which is the most important step in the process, is connect to leaders. Now, how can that work? Well, the key is if you can get a 3-way call or a 3-way Zoom with an upline pre-booked, which we'll talk about in a minute, that people can meet somebody else other than you to answer their questions, then you're showing how simple the system is, because you can say, hey, I didn't even need to know all the answers. I just introduced you to my friend Michael or Alex or whoever it is in your upline, and they answered all the questions. Okay, that's a whole other training on how to run one of those calls. You could have a key leader Zoom introduction to corporate. Corporate are not in an ivory tower. If you've got big leaders coming in, I know Aaron would love to meet them on a call in a regular sense. Maybe it's a coffee introduction to an upline face-to-face. So maybe you've watched some videos online, but you're catching up for a coffee 2 days later, and that could be a great follow-up to introduce them to a third party. It could be a group Q&A. I know in my Indonesian business, when it kicked off, there was about 13,000 pre-registrations, and they said, Michael, I don't have time to do one-on-one follow-ups. We're going to have a daily or weekly group Q&A, which is good for fast-growing teams. Now, the only thing I would say here is, for me, if you are my prospect, connect the tools, you watch the videos, connect the leaders, I introduce you to Alex one-on-one. Now, people say you could have answered all the questions. I say, yeah, I could have. But if I did, then you would be answering questions of your prospects on your own, and your results will be really poor because you don't understand the answer to all the questions yet. So the training is when you hear your questions answered for your prospects by somebody else. So personally, I prefer one-on-one follow-ups if I can do it, because we can tailor. After asking quality questions, we can determine what the needs and don't wants and do likes are from your prospect, and then your upline can pitch the Neumi business according to their needs, wants, and desires. When in a group Q&A, you don't have that luxury because you're not tailoring it for each individual, if that makes sense. So back into it. The other things you can do is get onto the weekly call Steve Scott does, Meet the Founder. It's a brilliant call and perfect as a follow-up. Now, personally, I get everyone to meet Steve as step 2, not 1. And the reason being is because generally it's a longer call with a lot more detail. And so people's attention span these days is very short. So 2-minute video gives them a snapshot, see if there's interest. The opportunity overview covers off opportunity, whereas Steve's call does not cover the opportunity because he's not coming into it as a network marketer. He talks about product and the heart and integrity and the vision of the company. So it's a great follow-up call, step 2 with Steve. And of course, another really mild, easy thing to do is then add them to the Neumi New You official Facebook group. That is the only company-run approved page. Everything else you might see online for prospects is not for all teams. They're just for specific teams. So don't join any groups that isn't in your upline. Only join the Neumi New You group because you know that one is a safe one. And of course, look at the live events. There might be live events happening within a few days of people watching one of your videos. So you could attend that and then take them up to the front of the room and introduce them to the speaker. Speakers know that they give for the greater good, anyone in the room that's not in their team, but they never guide cross-line people. They always refer you back to your existing team for guidance, but they're great to answer questions at the end of the event, and they know they're neutral if they've been given the microphone from the company. So let's go now to this third step, which is connect to products. Now, I'd love to say that Alex and I were so intelligent when we created this system for the company, when we launched the company, to say we could see around corners, but that's not true. We fell on our feet with some things, which was this one. We didn't say, when we said connect to product, we didn't say give a product sample. We didn't say sell a product. So there's many ways to do this. In poorer countries, they can't afford to sample. In the Western world, a lot of people do sample. So you choose, talk to your upline about that. So the first option in connecting to products would, hey, get them registered as a member. Ask the question, are you ready to get started? And boom, get them registered, get a product on the way. The second one is, as a backup, at least get them registered as a preferred customer on auto ship and get some product, or worst case, at least get them registered one-off as a retail customer on the website. Now, you may be able to give them a bottle of product as a sample. That's, again, something to look at. I certainly do. And I can tell you, if I had somebody watch the whole opportunity overview, meet with Alex, my upline, following the process and still looking keen, but they haven't made a decision, I've got extra product in the cupboard on purpose, and I will give a bottle of product to someone. That's my personal choice. 9 out of 10 times it's produced a very productive member. But I will not give product to someone for free if they're just a customer. And I will personally, this is my way of doing it, I won't give free product to somebody who refuses to get on a follow-up call with an upline, because it just means I'm throwing mud against the wall. So I put a few requirements in before I would ever give away a product sample. And again, you don't need to sample, that's a personal choice. Perhaps sell them a bottle of product, but please be aware, NFR markets you can't. What's that mean? Not for retail sale. So in Australia, we're not fully registered via the TGA, so you can have as many people as you like buy products from the website as preferred customers and members, but you cannot retail a product. If you do, you could actually end up in jail in Australia. So just be conscious of a market that's NFR and never sell a retail bottle to someone if it's NFR, because you might be breaching local laws. You could loan them a bottle. I call this rotation stock. That's why I have lots of product in the cupboard. If someone's investigating it and looking at it and their product hasn't arrived, I could give them one and say, hey, give me one back when yours arrives. And of course, in that follow-up process at step 3, send them more product testimonials. There's stacks and stacks and stacks. If you go to the company YouTube channel, there are stacks of interviews called Neumi New You interviews, where we've interviewed lots of people. There is Bill Gillespie videos, sports stars, all sorts of things you can send as a follow-up. Now, there is a secret power with all of this. And if you don't learn this, you won't be a very effective network marketer. This is the one skill you want to learn after the invitation. And that is BAM FAM. Book a meeting from a meeting. Some people think when they say, hey, if I sent you a video, would you watch it? And they say, yes, say, great, I'll send it to you. They think they've done the process. That's not the process. There's half of the process, right? The second half is saying, hey, you're probably going to have some questions once you watch the video. So before I send it to you, when is a good time that we could follow up? So book a meeting from a meeting. Not say, I'll get back to you. That's not booking a meeting from a meeting. Pre-booking the meeting, saying, hey, when's a good time? Okay. So everything you do in life starts uncomfortable. Let's talk about this for a minute, right? You go through 3 stages. Unconscious incompetence, where you don't know that you don't know what you're doing. Then you get to the next stage, which is conscious competence, where you go, oh my God, no wonder it's not working. I haven't got a clue what I'm doing. Let's reach out to a mentor. But eventually you practice and practice and practice. And guess what? Then you get to the conscious competence stage, where you think about it and you're going, what was that question Michael said? If I sent you a video, would you watch it? Yes. And when I send it, you'll probably have some questions once you watch it. When's a good time? So you practice that. And it might feel a bit clunky at first, but when you hear me say that, or Alex or Karen Justice Crowns, it just comes straight naturally. Why? Because we've said it so much that it's ingrained in our conscious, and it's now unconscious competence. Now, I want to put it to you this way. When you started learning how to drive a car, I can remember this. First time I drove down a side street at 50 kilometers an hour without anyone else in the car, prior to that, someone was sitting beside me. I remember panicking with white knuckles on the steering wheel. Whereas now, drive the car, you're on the phone, you're ladies, you're putting on the lipstick, you're reversing the car at the same time, telling the kids off in the back seat, whatever. It's all natural because you've got conscious, unconscious incompetence. So everything needs practice. So practice your approach. Practice the Neumi 1, 2, 3. Practice the questions of getting a upline on a follow-up call at step 2. If you do that, you'll have a much better result than the average person who doesn't practice. So let's talk about the ABC. So the 1, 2, 3 was the recruitment process that everyone uses in all languages around the world. But the ABC is the onboarding process to get someone started correctly. Okay, so there is the fast start guide, as I said, and you also have the 90-day plan. So we said connect to tools, connect to leaders, connect to product is the recruitment. In onboarding, it is direct, direct, direct. Direct to what? Well, ABC, direct to the app. That's the A. Direct to the bonus. That's the power of 3, getting started. And then direct to the community, which is connecting people so they feel part of something. So let's break that one down as well. So when we say direct people, direct your members to the app, we want you to help them to download the Neumi app, whether it's on Android or whether it's on Apple, and then practice the Neumi 1, 2, 3 sequence. Just don't leave them to themselves. Some people come in and bring in hundreds of members, and I know people in the group that have recruited 20 times as many people as I have, but they're not at the crown rank. Why is that? Because they haven't duplicated. So it's not just about selling people into the company, it's about holding their hand and teaching them the basics. So practice with them, sending a video out to you on the app, right, when you're getting them started. And then they can see it when it hits your phone. When you press it, it'll show how it's telling them whether you watch the video and how long you watch it for. So work with the new person on their invitation. At the end of this presentation, I'm going to play back for you some crowns and diamonds giving what they say in their invitation, which will be helpful for you to formulate your own. And then teach the right questions to ask to BAMFAM, book a meeting from a meeting. Okay, so this is really critical when you're talking about getting someone started, which was A, the app. The next one is direct your members to the bonus. So what do we mean? Well, power of 3 is simplicity. Why do we create the power of 3? Because there's 2 statistics in this industry. The average person, they say, only ever introduces 2.8 people. But that doesn't tie in with a second statistic, which is out of 100 names, on average, 30 people show an interest. You might end up with 20 customers, 10 members on average. So those 2 don't match up. Why is that? Well, because the person who only introduces 2.8 people generally rang their 20 best friends and stopped. So what we're suggesting is we created the power of 3, not as a permanent bonus focus, as a getting started bonus to give you a great income, and also so that someone without confidence could go, I could do this. I just need 3 people. So direct them to the power of 3. Earning $50 in enrolling their first 3 people after the first month has expired. Then duplicating that for $250 at step 2 when you help them 3 find 3, and then $1,500 when it's 3 by 3 by 3. And of course, you need to explain to them that level 2 requires being a senior member and level 3 requires being a 2-star. Okay. Now, by the way, generally, if you build the way we teach you, which is not 3 legs wide, it's 6 legs wide, and then power of 3 within it, you will find you'll be at those ranks anyway. Everyone always is, okay? And of course, as a minimum, say to someone, how'd you like to get your products for free? You just need to introduce 4 people who are purchasing what you're purchasing, and bang, you got your products for free. After that, I would encourage every single person, stop, write this down, go and watch the recording called the 130-10 philosophy. I can tell you this was created by Alex Monterosa, who helped design the compensation plan. And people who don't follow the 130-10, I think they get themselves very fast to the level 3, power 3, stacking it, and then it all collapses every time. I've not met one person who sustained it. So go watch the 130-10 so you understand why building 6 legs, not just 3, is going to be way, way, way more stable and way more profitable than if you just built 3, okay? So pointing this out is really simple. Did you know if you want to go crown, top of the compensation plan, you need 6 1-star legs and volume, but 6 1-star legs. If you want to be a diamond, that's 3 1-star legs. So the entire compensation plan is designed around getting power of 3 to start the engine, which will then lead you to 1-star, and then you duplicate 1-stars. That is the entire compensation plan put really simple, okay? So let's talk about now Directing to the community, which is the third step. You want people to feel part of something. So introduce them to the community of support. Maybe they've got a 2 or 3 upline they can fall back on when you're not around. Okay. Explain the event schedule. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, 6 p.m. Mountain Time is the most common. And of course, there's the European time zones as well. But then book a meeting from a meeting, book your person into their very first meeting, hold their hand and accompany them and hop on at the same time while they hop on one of these events. Tuesday, official business presentations by a preferred presenter. Wednesday, members night. And Thursday, Steve Scott Meet the Founder. Get them on those events. Then add them to the Neumi member group. Now, the Neumi New You group is for prospects. The Neumi member group is for members only, and you will need your member number to join that group. So invite them into the group. Just understand that Facebook has an algorithm that's automatic for us managing the groups. And if they don't answer the questions within 60 minutes, it'll send them an auto reply, kick them out of the group and say, hey, when you reapply, we need your member number and these details. So critical that people click agree to group rules, and critical that they answer the questions or they may not get into the groups. And that's designed to protect the groups from the wrong people getting in. Get them to submit their testimonial. If they've already used the product and they're feeling great, get them to write a testimonial right now and submit it to the official group called Neumi New You. Determine their level of intensity. Cycles versus the launch. What does that mean? Well, we just started a brand new team of ladies here in the USA. And I said, hey, you've got the capacity from your online exposure that you could put hundreds of people in a room. So we did a live, private, online launch with hundreds of people on their first event. Not everybody has that capacity. A brand new person coming in with a little bit of confidence probably wouldn't want a one launch event. So with that in mind, we talk about cycles. Now, what are cycles? There's a whole training on this, but cycles are when you're breaking it down. Some people get scared off of the idea of 100 names. So we say, okay, cool. Let's break it down. This came from Italo, one of our people who've been in the industry for decades, beautiful member out of Utah in Latin American market. And Italo said, hey, let's break it down. And we added this to Neumi 123. So put aside 100 names for a minute, and then let's talk about this. And it's explained in detail in the 130-10 recording, but some people get scared off for 100 names. So great, write down 30. Low-hanging fruit, 30 names. So 10 calls today, 10 calls tomorrow, 10 calls the next day, inviting them to watch a video. If I sent you a video, would you watch it? And then saying you'll have questions. When's a good time to debrief? So out of 30 calls, maybe 25 people watch a video, maybe 20 of them follow up with you and watch the second video, and maybe 10 to 12 of them get on a follow-up Zoom call with an upline to answer their questions. And then maybe 7 or 8 of them get registered. That's the sort of numbers to look at if you're following the process, okay? So pretty simple stuff. Let's hop back into it. Let's talk about what I said earlier. Use a tool, don't be a tool early on. You don't have to be the presenter, but eventually, as you grow, of course, becoming a presenter means people see you as the big leader. But the key thing to remember here is while you're doing all this process and learning, have fun. People are attracted to people who are enjoying themselves. Don't make it so serious. Just have fun, okay? So success in Neumi, as I said, is as simple as 1, 2, 3, ABC. As simple as that. Connect your prospects, connect to tools, connect to leaders, connect to products. And then when you're getting them started and onboarding them, direct your members. So direct to the app, direct to the bonus, and direct to the community. Pretty simple stuff. Now, we're going to briefly talk about contacting versus inviting as we wrap this up. And this is taken also from one of our 1-star boot camps for those members that have already reached 1-star. So what is contacting really? Now, contacting, in my opinion, is being genuinely interested in another human being without a Neumi agenda. This is how you dig the well before you need it, and you keep an active, growing list, okay? So what that means is getting online, joining groups, going to events, just meeting people. A good networker will have an everlasting list that keeps growing. And I've never run out of my list in, I don't know how many years since social media started, because I've always got new people that I'm getting to know. But remember what I said, without a Neumi agenda. Sometimes people can smell a desperate network marketer coming from 1,000 miles away because they say, hi, how are you, Michael? Lovely to meet you. Watch my link. Very unprofessional, right? Instead of building a relationship first, finding out some needs, wants, and desires. So contacting, separate, in my opinion, from inviting. So today we're going to talk about inviting. Now, effectively, there are 5 things we do in this industry. If I simplified it, what do? We contact, meeting new people without an agenda. We invite, getting people to watch an event or log on or check a video out. We present, we follow up, and we coach. Now, you're brand new, you don't coach because you can't coach theory. You've got to get some success under your belt before you can coach anything. You don't need to follow up because your upline is going to do the follow-ups with you, and that'll be more effective than doing it on your own if you're following Neumi 1, 2, 3. You don't need to present at the start because we've got recordings for that, and you want to show how simple and easy it is. That leaves two things, contacting and inviting. So put aside contacting. I'm just going to focus on the number one first skill you want to master if you want to be successful, and that is inviting. So let's hop on and have a quick look about inviting. So what is inviting? Inviting is inviting someone to watch a tool. It's not explaining Neumi. It's saying enough in a very quick blurb to get them excited to log on to something or check out a tool. Okay. So who would like an objection-free invitation? Glad you've asked. This is how I do mine. You want to write it down. Again, I'm not suggesting I know all the answers, just my version. In a minute, I'm going to play other people's verbiage of what they use so you can hear from crowns and diamonds about the difference they all say. So for me, it'd be small talk. So it'd be like, hey, Maria, how are you? How's your weekend? What have you been up to? Blah, blah, blah. Then listen, can't talk for long, just about to run out to a meeting, but I wanted to give you a call about something really exciting. You wouldn't be aware of this. This is my super quick blurb. I'll give you that in a second. Blah, 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 Neumi, Neumi, Neumi. And then, hey, if I sent you a video, would you watch it? Sure. Hey, once you've watched it, have questions, when are you free to debrief? That is booking a meeting from a meeting. Now, if I said, if I sent you a video, would you watch it? And she says yes, and I don't book the follow-up, I haven't followed the process yet. I'm only half on the process. So let's go back. I'm going to give you my approach the way I say it, and then you can have a listen to this, and then I'll play some others. So small talk. This is roughly how it goes. Watch the screen. Hey, Maria, how are you? How's your weekend? You know, geez, well, what the weather like down there? Blah, 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 blah. Hey, listen, just a really quick call. Can't talk for long because I've got to run out to a meeting. Mate, I've been thinking about you. You've got something so exciting I want to share with you. And you're probably not even aware. Liz and I have actually brought a brand new nanotechnology breakthrough into Australia, which is phenomenal. It's in the health and wellness and also the skincare world. And the results we're seeing are like nothing I've ever seen in my life. It's off the charts. The before and after photographs, the people's energy levels, they're sleeping better. They're getting so much benefits. I've never seen anything like it. It's through this amazing brand new breakthrough. But hey, if I sent you a little video that explains about it, goes for 2 minutes, 3 minutes, would you watch it? Sure. Okay, cool. Hey, if I send it through to you now, when do you think you'll get a chance to watch it? You're probably going to have some questions anyway. Oh, you watch it now? Oh, okay. Well, it only goes for 5 minutes. How about I call you in 10 minutes? Beautiful. All right, I'll give you a call then. Now, that's what I do. And that's the 2-minute video, which is the thermometer. When I ring them immediately on my own without Alex and I go, pretty cool, hey, and they go, wow, it's interesting. How is it? What does it work? You know, how does it work? What is it? All these different questions. Is it network marketing? Is that? I go, brilliant questions. I don't hide from any questions. I'll answer a couple. And then I'll say, you know what, though? That video is just designed to see if there's any curiosity. And obviously there is. So if I send you another video, which goes for about 25 minutes, it explains everything. When do you think you'll get a chance to watch that one? And they say, oh, later in the week. Perfect. Back to the same question, booking a meeting from a meeting. Awesome. So you watch it on Friday. So if I called you Saturday morning or Sunday, you would have watched it, yeah? Yep. Okay, perfect. All right, when's a good time to debrief? I was thinking maybe Saturday morning at 10 o'clock or Sunday at 11. Which one suits you best? That's a yes, yes answer. We lock that in, and then once I've confirmed it, not before, I don't say I'm bringing my upline, my scary, mentor, guru, none of the rubbish. Once I've confirmed it, and I already know the times I've suggested match my upline's availability, that's when I'll say, awesome, I'll see you on Saturday at 10. Hey, by the way, I'm going to introduce you to a great buddy of mine, Alex, who's had a phenomenal result on the product. Now, if they were a established network marketer, I would have said this instead. Fantastic. Listen, when we catch up 10 o'clock on Saturday morning, I'm going to introduce you to Alex. He is phenomenally successful in the industry, and he helped start the company. So depending on who I'm talking to, depends on whether it's just product story or big network marketer. So pick your mark, listen, and know who you're talking to, but book a meeting from a meeting. If you don't do that, you're only following half the process, all right? Now, here's a question everyone needs to be prepared for, and that is, what is it? Scary question. Oh my God, they said, what is it? What am I going to do? Now, if you don't have a rehearsed answer to this that you've practiced out loud, people, you know how they say animals can smell fear? Well, people can smell nervous network marketers. So if you don't practice it out loud, you won't be able to hit it back with straightaway answer. So let's say I've said to somebody that, I'm bringing a brand new nanotechnology product to the country and, it's amazing, whatever. And they say, yeah, but what is it? I will repeat what I said in a longer version. I'd say, well, as I said, we've invented a brand new nanotechnology product. And what it means is we shrink particles down smaller than anybody else has been able to do before. You put it in your mouth, it absorbs, and bang, 30 seconds later, it's in the bloodstream. But as I said, there's a video that explains it, and it's going to do a better job than I do. So if I sent you the video, would you watch it? See how I've gone back to explaining, but then going in more detail. But then I'll go, you know what? There's a great video anyway. Now, some of you are going to get verbal diarrhea. And so here's your ripcord so you don't splat on the ground like jumping out of an airplane. If you find yourself waffling because it's your personality, and you go, oh my God, what am I doing? And you can, in your own head, you can hear yourself waffling and presenting without any tools, which is not inviting. Just say, you know what? Boom, I've got a better idea. I'm waffling. Rather than me do that, if I sent you the video that I explains it all, would you watch it? So that's your ripcord. If I, would you? Remember that. Now, there's a magic thing also if you don't book a meeting from a meeting called Weirdo World. What does that mean? Well, this is why you want to book a meeting from a meeting in advance, because if you don't, here's what happens. You go, oh, and sometimes it's the golden retriever personalities or the beavers are going, oh, I don't want to push anyone. Those people are so laid back, they couldn't possibly be considered as pushy, right? But if you don't book a meeting from a meeting, here's what happens. You ring them back. Hey, Michael, did you watch that video yet? No, look, I haven't had time yet. Maria. Oh, okay, cool. Then you ring back 5 days later. Hey, have you watched that video yet? No. Look, I haven't watched it yet. I'll get back to you when I have, Maria. Oh, okay, cool. Then you bump into them in a coffee shop. And there's this weirdo world energy because you know that they know that you haven't watched it, and they know you know that we're all wanting the answer to the questions. And when are they going to watch it? And now you're this annoying, pesky network marketer that just chases people. If you don't want to be that person, follow Neumi 123. Make sure on step 2, you book a meeting from a meeting in advance. Then you're never chasing anyone and never become that person. So get out of weirdo world. So if you are in weirdo world, how do you get out of it? When you're there in the coffee shop, you go, you know what? Maria, I've just realized we're in weirdo world. And she goes, what's weirdo world? You go, well, I've sent you a video. You haven't watched it. I'm wondering if you're watching it. You're wondering if I'm following up. But let's just, I've got a better idea. We've sent you the video. When do you think you'll get a chance to watch it? And I'll book a time in now that we can debrief. So you get back on track yet again. So until someone says, no, it's not for me, we're just booking a meeting from a meeting. And keep in mind too, statistically, that some people need between 5 and 7 exposures before they make a decision. So it could be 2-minute video, quick explanation, opportunity overview, introduce to your upline in a Zoom, try a product, watch a Steve Scott overview, watch a Bill Gillespie video, have another follow-up call. So our job isn't to close immediately necessarily. We'll ask the question, are you ready to get started? But if that's a no, you just keep booking a meeting from a meeting, another tool, and just until someone says it's for me, I'm a customer, or it's not for me, and thanks for thinking of me. So if you think it that way, we are sorting rather than hard selling. We're just getting them through the videos. The video does the work. The upline does the work. The products do the work. So let's hop back in because I want to wrap it up with something really important. So know your answer to what is it. Practice it with an upline.
Well, obviously, I've called you because I'm excited about something. I've started taking this product. It's brand new technology. I'm so excited. I'm looking at least 10 years younger. And it's not just that I'm looking younger, I'm just feeling incredible. If I sent you a 2.5-minute video that I watched before I got involved, would you take the time to look at it?
Okay. Was that hard? Type it in the chat. Was that easy? Type in easy or type in hard. It's not rocket science. That is a Crown who said her version. Now, did you notice that Karen didn't say the same words as me? I was chatting to someone in my team who came from mentoring session at my house the other day, who's from the Sunshine Coast. And it's funny, actually, I'll share this with you. She said, I just wouldn't say I'm bringing a nanotechnology product to the world because I'm not, I just joined Neumi, whatever. And I'm like, so what would you say? Well, I've got a side gig. I said, so say that. Then I was talking to her sponsor and she said, I wouldn't say what you say either. I said, I didn't tell you needed to say what I said. I say whatever the heck you like, as long as you finish with, if I sent you a video, would you watch it? Which Karen still did, and book a meeting from a meeting. And I said, what would you say? She goes, well, I've been taking this shit, excuse the French, and it really works. I said, so say that. I don't care what you say, be you. So let's play some more. Okay, you're going to see they're all so different, but there's a common theme in absolutely every one of them. Right, have a listen to this one.
Hey, Michael, I've come across something that I've been thinking about you. How well do you think we would do if we were able to enhance people's quality of life, give them more mental clarity, allow them to sleep better at night, and build up their immune system? If I send you a 2-minute video, would you be able to watch it right now? Let me know.
Boom. That's Alex Monterosa, my sponsor, a crown, the highest income earner in the entire company. This something similar. What was similar between the two there? If I sent you a video, would you watch it? Right, let's play another one.
Hey, Michael, I'm sure you have had a wonderful weekend there. I seen you and Liz were out and about. So I know you've seen that I've been dabbling in a nutraceutical business recently, and I would love it if I could get you on one of the videos. If I send you one, would you be able to watch it right away for me?
So Oot and a Boot, obviously, is Canada, and that's Christy Price, right? And so very different, but what did she say? If I sent you a video, would you watch it? Hello, guys, commonality. Maybe you're picking something up out of these. Here's another one.
Hey, Michael, if you had your choice, would you prefer better health, better looks, better finances, or all the above? All you got to do is swish, spray, and speak. If you would direct message me, I'll send you a 2-minute video explaining what we have.
You can tell it's from Georgia. That's my friend James Lewis, fastest diamond ever, because they were diamond in 48 hours after we launched the company. Great example there. Here's another one.
Hi, Michael. It was so good to see you at the gym. You're looking amazing. Listen, I was hoping to chat with you about something I came across that I think would be most beneficial to what you're doing in the gym and your health. It seems like it would be right up your alley. If I sent you a video, would you watch it for me, please?
All right. So you can see there, that was Rhonda Dasher, also one of the founding advisory board members. Everyone said something slightly different. So we don't want to create parrots, but we do want to make sure you know the questions, because there's a fact. He or she who asks the questions directs the whole conversation. I'll say it again, write it down. He or she who asks the questions controls the whole conversation. So if I say to you, hey, there's a really cool business I'm launching, full stop, you're going to ask me questions. So I don't want that to happen. So if I say, there's a really cool business I'm launching, but if I sent you a video that explains it, would you watch it? You're going to say yes or no. So if I say, hey, once you say yes, look, you can have questions. When's a good time to debrief? I was thinking Thursday or Friday, which suits you best? It's a yes, yes. So the questions are the power. You don't need to know all the answers. In fact, when you do know the answers to every question, unfortunately, in some people's case, their business slows down because then they have verbal diarrhea about the knowledge rather than using the tools. Okay, so I hope you found this helpful. Those little excerpts just show you that lots of people are saying slightly different things, but they're all using the same questions. Booking a meeting from a meeting, and if I sent you a video, would you watch it? So master those and practice those with an upline, and that's the key to success. So that's the end of the Neumi members Road to One Star. Learn the ABCs and 1, 2, 3s of Neumi. I want to thank you for attending this and encourage you next up to go watch third-party validation and the 130-10. And welcome to Neumi. All the best.